So here we are. Welcome. 43 days away from being in Egypt. We are almost there. For those who may not know who I am, I'm Jackson-Zepherin. I'm one of the producers for the Tambor Cruise in Egypt. So excited to be here. And to my left is Sir Stan Zeff.
Good to see everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Looking forward to Egypt in a few weeks' time. It's going to come sooner than we think. So now's the time to get everything ready and in order.
Yes. And I want to add to that, we want to extend a very, very heartfelt thank you to all of you on the call who may be listening to this recording later, to say thank you for trusting us. I know for many of you on the call, this is your first trip to Africa, or maybe even your first long international trip. And it takes a lot of courage and trust in us to help facilitate that on your behalf. And so we are most grateful for that. And we're super excited to be able to usher in this experience for you. But we just wanted to start the call to say thank you so much for your support, for your trust. This is going to be an amazing trip. We've invested so much time and energy and thought around curating an experience that is not just a trip of a lifetime, and also one to support you in the music, in terms of the places that we're going to, and all of the above. We really want this to be an immersive sort of 360-degree experience for you. So again, thank you. I also want to thank, we have some ambassadors on the call today who are your navigators and stewards in helping our guests and supporting them throughout this experience, even before we get to Egypt. Some of them will be reaching out to you because we'll have you all guests assigned to an ambassador who will be, pretty much your first line of contact. If you have any issues or concerns or excitement that you want to share, or our ambassadors will help you in that. So on the call, we have Demetrius, who has led our photography for Tambor Party for the last 12 years. We also have on the call Danielle, and you guys feel free to step in and chat if you want to. Danielle, who is also an ambassador, who's been helping with a lot of the production activities. She'll also be a facilitator for some of our wellness activations and working with some of the designated groups. We also have, I see Mo on the call, who's leading our ambassadors. She's going to be phenomenal in helping us with that effort as well. And we have Vernice, who is supporting it as well. And I'm just going to page 2 to see if I overlooked anyone. I think that's all of the ambassadors for today. So anywho, you will be on the lookout for emails as well as a WhatsApp invitation to your private group with your ambassador. Okay. So more information coming on that soon.
If you haven't got WhatsApp on your phone, probably now's a good time to start installing that app, because we will be using that for communication whilst we're in Egypt.
Yes. So yeah, for those who may not know, WhatsApp is an application that we can use instead of international calling on our phones, right? WhatsApp is an internet-based service that we can use for communicating with one another while we're traveling, throughout the airports, as well as when we get to Egypt. So as Stan mentioned, if you haven't done that already, please, please, please go ahead and book that. What else? So as I mentioned before, we have a few spots left. If you have friends, family members, someone who's been on the line about joining you on this trip, we ask that you, one, if you can get them on this call, get them on the call. We are extending the window for financing. We have some folks in the queue now who are going through the financing process, who wanted to book. So we have extended that. So if you have someone who's interested, but financing was something that they really needed in order to secure their ticket, that still is available. We'll drop our Tambor Cruise consultant. Her name is Tony Winston. We'll put her information in the chat as well, and you can send her an email to get started with your financing. And so, for those who don't know about financing, this is a seriously affordable way to not just book your Tambor cruise ticket, but you can get your flights, you can get your travel insurance, you can get, if you want to do additional excursions or stay a little bit longer, the hotels associated with that, all of that can be included in your financing. And we do have quite a few people on this trip who have financed. We've even had someone who was able to get their financing down to $96 a month. So that's essentially about $45 every 2 weeks. And that would cover, everything that you need for the trip itself. So if that's something that you're interested in, please go ahead and reach out to Tony. We'll put her information in the chat. The promotion that we're extending, for those who don't know, we've sent out an email to all of our guests who are booked. If you refer someone to the cruise and they book, you as a guest who is already booked with us, you get $200. And for this last week, we're going to extend it so that the person that you book also receives $200. So you, as the person who refers, will get the $200. The person who books will get a $200 discount, or you could take your $200 and gift it to the person that you refer. Maybe you have a cousin or an auntie or a colleague that's in a bit of a crunch and they need, the extra $200.
You're on, but you can't say.
Did you have a question? Oh, was there a comment? So, yeah, you can split that referral gift with your, the person that you're referring, or you can keep, the commission for yourself. But that's something that we're extending to all of our guests who have booked. So that's $200 for each person that you refer who books, and that person also receives a $200 discount. Any questions on that? Because that's slightly different than what we've, shared previously.
Yeah, Kimmy.
Hey, Kimmy. Your face just popped up. Are there any questions in the chat so far, Danielle and Mo?
No, nothing yet.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, no, nothing yet.
Okay, all right, then we will move on. All right, so hot topics for tonight, or today. So we've sent out several emails. We've reached out to individuals about your check-in information, specifically the details for your passport. We have, like I said, we've sent out personalized emails. We've sent out emails, to all of our guests. But at this point, your name, your date of birth, your passport number, the expiration, your nationality, your country, all of that should be updated. And if you haven't done that, I can tell you your reservation is at risk with the hotel and the ship management, right? Because they have to have your legal name and passport details as it's reflected on your passport. So if you didn't put your middle name, or you didn't put your guest name and date of birth and that sort of thing, your reservation is at risk with the hotel and the ship. So
And also we need your t-shirt sizes. We're about to order the t-shirts, so if we don't get your size, then we're going to default to large. Okay, so just letting you know.
okay, so I'm not going to go much more into detail about that. If you haven't done it, I suggest that you do it while we're on this call. And if you have any issues, you can send an email to our support team at support@tamborcruise.com. So that can be finalized. All right, the next hot topic, the visa application. I know it's been a challenge with Egypt's website. We're using the official government website for Egypt. That's the one that we've shared. I'm going to pull it up just so everyone can see what it looks like. You'll see plenty of websites out there that suggest that they can do your application on your they can do your application on your behalf, and that is true, but they're going to charge you significantly for it. Typically, it costs about $25 US to apply for your visa. If you go to one of these third-party sites, it's going to cost you sometimes $60, $85. Okay. So with that, let me pull up the website, and I want to walk everyone through.
Because some people have been having issues applying for it online. So
Yeah. So let me know when you can see. Some of these windows. Okay, this is the actual site. Can you guys see my?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So if someone can post, Danielle or Mo, if you can post the link to the website. When you apply for your visa, you do have to set up an account, and I'm just going to log into my account and walk you through creating a new one. Okay. Oh, I'm using the wrong email address. Sorry. Sorry. The problem is I had logged in, but it logs you out after a while. Okay. Well, guys,
create a new
yeah, let me
account.
try one more time. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm going to create a new application. All right, so the first question is the application type, right? So the single option is, you're a single person, and you're applying for yourself. If you're traveling with family members, your spouse or children or something like that, you can also submit all of their applications under one account, right? So for today, I'm just going to do the single. Your visa type is tourism. Entry type, this just means basically how many times are you going to be going to Egypt? For now, you're just going to put, this is a single entry. Most of us are traveling from North America, either the United States or Canada. So I'm going to put traveling from there. Your expected arrival dates. This may vary slightly based on when you're coming in, but it should be somewhere between, the 20th and the 22nd, right? Is when you actually arrive to Egypt, which would mean the Cairo International Airport, right? Not when you get to Luxor, but when you actually arrive into Egypt. So be mindful of that. And your date for departure would be the date that you leave Egypt. So not when you leave Luxor, not when you
Aswan.
leave Aswan, but when you leave Egypt from Cairo. Okay, so if you're staying, 2 or 3 days after the cruise event, right? Before you go back to Cairo, or you're gonna stay a few days in Cairo, make sure that you put your departure date as the date that you're leaving Egypt. All right. And Danielle or Mo, if you see any questions in the chat as I'm moving along, please let me know. All right. So you're gonna go through, you have to put your information in as it shows up on your passport. Now, for this exercise, I'm just using, fake information. But make sure it is the actual date on your passport. Your current nationality. If you've had other passports before, make sure you, for this field, the current nationality, that you pick what you have today. So let's say you moved from Jamaica to the US and you got your US passport. You would start with your current nationality as the US, and your original nationality would be Jamaica. So just pay attention to that. Or you may not have any nationalities. Put in a profession. It doesn't really matter. Just make sure you don't put any spaces or special characters like dots, periods, apostrophes, commas, that sort of thing. Pick your marital status. On your passport type, there's only one. Your passport number. You want to put something there. Where your passport came from in terms of country. The date. All of this information is on your passport. Okay. If you've never been to Egypt before, you're going to select no here. If you have, you would put the dates that you were there the last time and where you stayed. This could be as simple as a hotel name. You don't have to get very elaborate. But if you were there in Egypt previously, just make sure you put one of the hotels that you stayed at. We hope that no one's been deported from Egypt, but if you have to put that information in. And then again, you're going to put in your email address. And for those who have not seen on the Facebook private group page, we put some tips on how to apply for your visa. I'm just going to show that very quickly. Here, it's a post-it pin at the top of the page. So if you go to the Tambor Egypt Cruise private Facebook page, you'll see one of the first pin posts is about the visa application. It would be a good idea to read this before you start the process, because there are some little things that can create hiccups in your application that can be very frustrating. So we've tried to document all of those little things here in this post. If there are other things that we missed, please put a comment on this post so we can update it. And going forward, we'll use this as the source of truth. I see Claudia has a hand raised. You have a question, Claudia?
Yeah, hi, Jackie. So for people who did the wrong date, can you go in there and change it, or will this be an issue? Like let's say you put in the day you're leaving Aswan, but you're not leaving Egypt till the next day.
Mm-hmm. Have you saved your application or have you actually submitted it?
Well, I'm asking in general. I think I did mine correctly, but I know other people may.
See,
I think
you want to pay attention and make sure you get those dates right, because once it's submitted, you can't go back and change it.
Yeah.
So this question is arising. I was going to wait until you guys went through everything because this is a unique case, but this, for context, Jackie and Stan, this question is arising because Monique has shared that she actually has submitted the application and made this error, and so is wondering what to do next. I don't know if you want to just finish going through the application process and then address that question, or if you wanted to address it now. But that's
Address it now, because I really don't know. I don't think you can change your application once it's
Yeah.
been submitted.
Right.
I don't even know that it would be a big issue, but once it is issued to you, which typically, when we've done it in the past before, they say, you know, allow 10 business days, I think 10 to 14 business days, but we've got it within 2 to 3 days. So once you, Monique, receive your visa, I would respond and just say my dates are slightly different. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Because
the other thing you can do is once you get to passport control in Egypt and they're stamping your visa, you can basically say, I made a mistake when I was applying for it, and
Yeah.
I'm now leaving a day later or a day earlier. I made that mistake, and they should be able to make that adjustment on your visa for you. I think that's probably the best way to go about it.
yeah, and the easiest, because from what I've heard, their support team is not very responsive
Right.
via email. So yeah, that may be the easiest way, Monique, is just to wait until you go through passport control.
And let them know.
Yeah, and let them know. Is there any other questions on that before we keep going?
And the other thing is, if you have a guide that's meeting you at Cairo, mention it to them as well, and they'll be able to sort it out for you. Because they've got contacts with the visa people and the passport control. So first thing is to mention it to them and see how they say to handle it. If you don't have a guide, then you mention it to passport control when you're going through.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the airport escorts shortly after this in this call today. Okay, are there any other questions on that?
I don't see any others in the chat. Monique says, thank you so much.
Okay, awesome. So the next field here on the phone number, also just as a point of reference, if you hover over the field, it will tell you things like, make sure you don't put spaces or special characters. Because if you do, it's not going to save your record. So in this case, I just wanted to show, and this is also in the notes, when you put in your phone number, you have to put in the plus sign and you have to put in your country code, right? So if you're in the US, that's +1, right? And then you put in your phone number, no periods, no dots, no dashes, no spaces. That's it, okay? For your address, you're going to put in everything on one row. So any street, road, any city. Okay, no commas. You can put your state, you can spell it out, and then you can put USA, right? You don't even have to have the zip, but you want to make sure everything is on one row. You don't want to come down here and try to like put, you know, your unit number or something like that on the second line. You would put it up here, right? So if you have an apartment, let's say it's apartment 10, right? Just put it in just like that. No commas, no dashes, no nothing, right? You can put numbers in, but you have to make sure that you don't have any spaces. So in this case, like I have a space here, right? You want to make sure you get rid of that.
The other thing I would say is make sure that you're using Chrome or Firefox. Pretty much Chrome is accepted on most websites, especially international websites. If you're using Safari, that can sometimes cause a problem. So stick with Chrome. I would say Chrome is your number one, Firefox is your number 2 browser.
Yep. Okay. The next part, you have to attach your passport. So I'm just gonna attach an image. You have to hit browse first. Okay, you have to hit browse first. Once you see the image show up, you're going to hit attach. Before you do that, you want to look at the size. Okay, if it's more than 1 MB, it's not going to attach, right? It has to be less than 1 megabyte, right? In this case, it's 532 kilobytes, so it's fine. So you have to hit the attach button.
Jackie and Stan,
Mm-hmm.
before you move on, there are still some questions and some clarification
Okay.
on the earlier part. So if you could scroll back up, we've got, I just want to make sure that everybody's super, super clear. Go back to the address here. So folks are wondering for the address if spaces are okay in the address, but spaces are not okay in their name, for example, if they have 2 last names or a hyphenated last name.
Right. So when we talk about spaces, it's leading and trailing spaces. So for example, if I put my cursor here right in front of the 1, right, and I add some spaces, right, that's a no-no. Okay. Or if I come here to
Carriage returns.
if you do carriage returns, right? So let's say you wanted to put your apartment number down here on the 2nd row. This is considered space between USA and Unit 9, right? So you can't do that either, right? So you see how my cursor is here on the second row? That would be extra space. So you want to make sure, I'm just going to hit delete and it takes me to the end here. So you want to make sure there's no trailing spaces after your address. But as you can see here, you can put space in between, the words of your home address. It can't be any preceding or trailing spaces, right? No commas, no dashes, no hyphens, no, pound symbols. A lot of times when you have your apartment or unit number, you'll see the pound symbol. None of that, just all on one line. You don't have to have the zip code, just put the city, the state, and USA.
The other question is around, if you could scroll back up, thank you, Jackie. And to the name, scroll up a little bit more.
Okay.
The surname. So if someone's last name is hyphenated, or they have 2 last names, what they're sharing in the chat is that it doesn't work for hyphens, but they just put a space and that didn't work either. So in a case like that, is the recommendation to just kind of combine those 2 last names into one?
Yes.
Right.
So is it only on the surname that you can't do a space between the names? Because like if you have a middle name, right, you're going to put it in your first name. I forgot to mention that.
Let's see. That question came from Reggie. Reggie, could you just come off of mute and maybe share more context?
Yes, thank you. Go ahead, Sam.
I tried the combination name to put the names as one, and that didn't work either. They sent me a message back saying it doesn't match to my passport. So actually I dropped the second name and then it's rejected. So in essence, I tried of course, the hyphen, it didn't work. I tried the space, it didn't work. I tried the one word, it didn't work. So I dropped the last, and then that's when they denied it.
Her application's been declined.
It's been declined altogether.
Yep.
So let me get this straight. So you have a hyphenated last name or you have a middle name?
Hyphenated last name.
Okay.
Okay. Did you try putting your first part of your last name in the first name field?
I tried, okay, the first part of the last name, I did that. That was my conclusion, or that was my ending part of it. And then that's what they declined.
Okay. So you did that?
Yes.
Hmm.
I said the same thing. else to do.
I really don't know the answer to that.
We'll have to look
Yeah,
into
that's
it.
something we'll have to look into, but I just want to make sure you have a hyphenated last name, right?
Yes.
And you tried putting your first last name in with the first name field.
Mm-mm.
And that-
No, no, no.
No, she didn't. She did. She just did the. Her name is Marlena Bennett Little. So she put Marlene in the first field, but did not put the first part of the last name in that first field.
Oh, so she
Okay.
didn't do this?
No.
She didn't do that.
So
Right.
Marlene,
Go ahead.
No, I did. No. It's the surname. It's the surname that I'm having the issue with.
I understand.
Okay, I placed the first time I placed Henderson hyphen Reese, and then of course there's no special character, so I dropped the hyphen and leave it as a space with the two names. That didn't work.
Mhm.
So I said, okay, let me drop that last part of the on Henderson, just put Henderson, and that's what they actually decline, because my passport has Henderson hyphen Reese.
Okay. So this how we have it on the screen now, this was rejected, right?
Yes, the first not rejected per se, but they just asked me it doesn't match. Please amend. So I went back and I edited, and I said, okay, it's not accepting even the space. So I said, what I did, I just put Henderson in there.
What about this way, where your first?
I didn't do that way because it just asked for the first name. So I just put Marlene in that spot. So I did not do that way. That's the only way I did not do.
Right. Because I think
Okay.
So you
I
think
think
maybe
this
that would
may,
work?
I think this may work, because I think I've had that problem with someone before and they did that and it went through.
Okay,
But we'll have to look into it a bit more.
much appreciated.
Okay.
Yeah. So you said they declined your application altogether, correct?
Yes, I just was looking in my email,
Mhm.
and that's what it said. It said visa decline due to the travel documents does not match application data.
Okay. And did you respond to that email already?
I have not. I was getting ready to send a message to them, but I figured let me just raise it to you
Yeah.
first to get some
Yeah.
type of direction.
Yeah, I'm taking a note. I honestly, I'm not sure. Marlene, that's something we'll just have to follow up on and see. But if you can, just go ahead and let them know that you have a hyphenated surname and you're not
Okay.
sure where to place your the first name of your surname, if it should go in the first name field or in the surname field.
Okay, that's what I was getting ready to do to
Yeah.
them. Okay, thank you.
You know, and I agree with Stan. This seems like the best option to put the first surname in with the first name field. Also for those who have a middle name, I know that's very common in the US, your middle name would also go in this field too. So
If it's on your passport.
if it's on your passport. So whatever is on your passport, it needs to be in these details. We're still working out the kinks on, if there's a hyphen or whatnot, but you need to make sure that your middle name is on this field as such. And that also goes in for your check-in fields on your account in myeasel.com. You need to do the same thing. However it shows up on your passport, make sure you do that in those fields as well.
Thank you guys. Jackie and Stan, I also want to just bring to your attention, Lisa Brockington has shared that the same thing happened with their visa. The same thing that's happened to Marlene has also happened to Lisa's visa. So I just want to put that on your radar. That's Lisa Brockington. And then Dr. Jasper Brewster is asking, how do we turn a photo? So kind of going back to where we left off, how do we turn a photo into a JPEG?
That's a good question. I can show you that very quickly. Let me go.
Hey, this is Jasper again, and I'm looking at my passport right now, and under my given name, it has my first name and middle name, and then it says my surname has my last name. So I guess that makes sense that you have to include your first and middle name in the spot for your first name when filling out the form, because that's how it is on the passport.
Yep, it would look like this. I just gave you a new middle name, but forgive me. So if your middle name was Marlon, you would put Jasper Marlon here with a space in between, and then your surname would be your last name.
Correct.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Let me pull up
I can see, just looking online, the way people got around it before, they just got their visa on arrival, but they've stopped that now. So
okay. The first part, how to change the name. Okay. So if you go to the file itself and just click rename, one way that you can do it is there, and you just put .png. Okay. And as you can see, now it's a PNG file. All right. If you could change it to JPEG. Okay. Just put JPJ. And it's going to ask you to confirm that. Yes. And you can see where it changed the file name. The other thing I wanted to show you is if your file is too large, let's say it's 1 megabyte or more than 1 megabyte, as I mentioned, it has to be less than that. So if you have just a standard photo editor, or I suggest doing this on your laptop, unless you are, savvy with some applications on your phone. But if you do this on your laptop, I have a MacBook, but most image editors that come on your computer are pretty standard. So if you go to something like Tools or View or something like that, you're going to get an option where you can resize the image. And so what you want to do is you're going to change the width and the height. So if you change one, if you have it marked to scale proportionally, it'll change the other. And as you make those adjustments, it will change the size, and it should show you, what the size converts to. Okay. Did that answer your question, Jasper?
Yes, it did. I'm sorry. I was on mute. Yes,
I think the easiest way is just to change your extension to JPG. That's the easiest way to do it.
For the file extension, right?
Yeah.
But this is for the resizing it.
Oh, okay.
If it's too big. Right. Okay. Okay. So do we need to go back to the visa application?
Have you been through it?
Yeah, let's try to do this.
Put your passport in.
Did it attach?
Yes.
Yes, it did. Okay. So I'm gonna see if it'll let me save this. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, it saved it. Right, you'll get a little pop-up that says it's saved. It also allows you, even though I picked single, it still allows you to put in an application for another person. So after the record saves, it comes back to this blank form. So if you have someone in your household that's traveling with you, you can put in their information. All right. So I'm just going to move on to the next page. Yes. Oh, why is it still?
Am I reading something wrong?
It should
I'm just trying to do the blank instead of.
Yeah,
Do a clear field. Do a clear field, Jackie.
okay. But it's like it's still expecting me to put in somebody else.
Now try next.
Yeah, let's see. Yes. Save. Okay. I thought I picked single.
But you put married.
Huh?
Yeah, I wound up with the same problem. I had to go back in.
You had
But
to
I just
back in and do what?
hey, this is Val. So when I did it, I just did the clear field after I had put me and Betty in, and
In that word?
then it let me go forward. Yeah. Yeah, even though that other line was up there,
Mm-hmm.
it had my two, right? And then you see the blank line up there on the top, it had that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did the save update, then I did the clear field, and then it let me go next. So that's why I just said to you, do the clear field. I don't know. This process is weird, and I write apps, so it's crazy. Anyway, I'll get off.
No, I appreciate that, Val. I'm not sure why it's not letting me go through now.
So where it says yes, say no.
No, where of it?
Just clear fields again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Next.
yeah, and I did know if it asked me to save again,
Next.
I did know.
Thank
And
Oh,
then
okay.
yeah. Thanks, Dan.
Okay,
I
so
forgot
that
other
was
piece.
that was the key. So let me make a note. Clear field. So save, clear field,
No.
and then no. Go to next. Okay, I'll update that in the pen. All right. So the host information. This is also on the post. Please pull it from here. It's the visa type, the host type, the name of the hotel, the number, the email, and so forth. Okay.
Address.
And the address. So all of those details are there. Trying to get this out of the way. Can't get to the top of the. There we go. Go back to the visa. Okay, so your host type, self, host name, Stegenberger, host phone number, not what it is. I'm just gonna. Remember, no spaces. Okay. And then the email address. I mean, the postal address. I need to take out these commas here. So it would look like this. No commas.
Take out that zip code, the 85951. I had to take that out.
Yeah. So it should look like this. Now let me.
Is there a line underneath? No, that's an
no.
arrow from the note. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Who's paying for travel and accommodation? That's yourself. Save it. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Okay. Bam. So the next would be you could create a new application, or you could move forward with confirming. Any questions? Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing this for just a moment and do a time check. Okay, we're at
It's
1:56.
1:56.
Okay.
No, it's 2:00. It's 2:00.
All right. So are there any questions on the flights? No questions on the flights. All right. I'm sorry, the visa. I want to make this bigger. I'm going to launch a poll. I want to talk about flights. There's a poll that should be showing up on your screen now. We just want to take a snapshot to see where people are with their flights, right? So we've gotten some new flights released for the Egypt domestic flights. I think a lot of you already had your international flights, but we're just trying to keep a pulse to, you know, where you are with those domestic flights. I know some of you have asked for some early morning flights from Aswan to Cairo. And I've been talking to you individually, but the stance is still the same from the airlines. They have to have a demand for those flights in order to release new schedules, right? And that demand does not have to necessarily come from all of Tambor, but they need at least 100 people. And we're not there yet. I think from our group, we had about 7 who have said they absolutely have to have a morning flight. Maybe even less than that now. So it looks like flights and the visa. Most people are saying their wardrobe is the biggest challenge right now. Okay. I see we got a stylish crew. It looks like most of the people on this call who have taken the survey, they've booked their Aswan to Cairo, the Cairo to Luxor, and the international flight. Okay. If you're on this call or you're listening to this recording, right? I mean, you have not booked your flights. Now is the time to do that, right? Especially for those Egypt domestic flights. The airlines are, like I said, they're the way that they put out new flights. We don't know if there will be an additional flights. So you need to go ahead and book those now if you can. If you need support booking your flights, we still have our travel agent, Tony, who can help you with that. We'll post her information in the chat. But now is the time to get that booked. If you've already booked your flights, please go in to your account and start to put your flight details into your check-in information, because that's going to help us build our schedule for the airport escorts in Aswan and Luxor. So all of that information is going to be due in about a week and a half. So if you have it, go ahead and put it in. If you don't put your information in, then you're at risk for not having an airport escort in Luxor, Aswan, or even the transport when you arrive in Luxor, okay? So put that in immediately if you have it, or soon after you get it, okay? All right, any questions on the flights? Nothing? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and close this poll. And we'll get back to the agenda. All right, so excursions. We put up some new excursions on the website. If you haven't seen them, we've been talking about them. Danielle or Mo, if you can post the link in the chat for the excursions. We do have some more out there. Of course, your Tambor ticket includes some excursions. And then we also have some additional optional excursions that you could take on that Friday or Saturday when we get to Aswan. One of which is the Felucca ride to a Nubian village. And so for those who don't know, the Nubian villages of Aswan are in some ways regarded as some of the oldest human race in civilization. Most of the people there migrated from Sudan. And you'll notice that they look a lot like us, more so than, you know, when you travel further north in Luxor and Cairo. And so they have villages set up where you can go and visit these beautiful, they're very colorful. They even have their own dialect, but you can take a sailboat ride. I think it's about a 3-hour excursion, 3 to 4 hours, where you can go and visit a village when we get to Aswan. So that is on the website. That's $25 to do that. We have to have a minimum of 20 people.
in order to partake in that excursion. So if you are interested, you can go and book that. We've also posted a private shopping tour of the market. And what that means is we'll actually have a guide that will escort you to the Aswan souk of the market. So you don't have to go on your own, and that person will take you, you know, to all the best shopping spots in Aswan. That's also a minimum of 20 people as well. That's on the website. I'm actually just going to share very quickly, because we've had some people ask where it is exactly. So if you go to the excursions tab, so if you're on the Tambor Cruise main page, tamborcruise.com, there's a tab at the top called excursions. If you go to that page, it talks about all the excursions that we're going on, you know, the ones that are included in your trip. And then at the bottom, you'll see the add-on excursions and upgrades. So we've talked about, I'm just gonna scroll this over. We just talked about the shopping tour, that's there. I don't see there's the Felucca ride, sorry. The Felucca ride to the Nubian village, the hot air balloon. There's also the drink package for the ship. This is so that you can have, we're providing soft beverages, but if you also want a package for alcohol, this would be that package that provides you unlimited drinks during our meals and Tambor events on the ship. And lastly,
airport escorts.
yeah, I want to talk about the airport escorts. So with your cruise ticket, you receive airport escorts at Luxor and Aswan. When you come into Cairo, you can also hire an airport escort. And so what that means is you'd have, you know, someone that we've contracted, a third-party agency that would meet you at pretty much right after you get off the plane. They would escort you through immigration, customs, the visa process that we were talking about earlier, where you go and get stamped, and your baggage collection. Now, I'll tell you, this really expedites the process, right? Like you get fast tracked. It's only $15. If you go out and you search, you know, you'll see that on average, an airport escort can run you anywhere from $55 to $75, right? So you guys, we've tried to, you know, create as much ease as possible and get some negotiated rates that are affordable. This is the lowest.
Okay, so, and the thing is, what does it look like? Well, when you get off board your international flight at Cairo, and you're coming through, you've gone through customs, there's going to be someone waiting there with your name on either an iPad or a sheet of paper, but they'll have your name, so that you can see who's picking you up, and then they'll take your luggage. They usually take your luggage for you, and you know, they know where you're going to be going, and they'll take you to your terminal that you're going to be going to, or if you're going to a lounge first or whatever, they'll help you through all of that. Okay. Actually, they're there before customs, aren't they?
Right,
before you go
right
through,
after you get off the plane.
as soon as you get off the plane, that's when they are. Sorry. They'll meet you as soon as you get off the plane, and they'll take you through your visa control, customs, passport control, picking up your luggage. They'll take you through all of that. So it's, and because they're connected with the airport, then they'll just skip the lines. More often than not, they'll skip the lines. So
Okay.
I recommend it.
Highly recommend.
Question, highly recommended. I understand for the people doing the transfer, but if you'll arrive and you're going to be there and you're not catching the domestic flight, you still highly recommend it or just suggest it?
Now, this is why I would recommend it. So even if you plan to arrive in Cairo and say you're going to stay a couple of days later, I think that was Jasper I heard talking. say you want to stay a couple of days longer, right? This person will still fast track you through, like Sam was saying, customs, baggage collection, the visa, like all of that, right? It's not just, okay, this is where you need to go to get to the next terminal. It's also more about just fast tracking through that process. Even if you plan on leaving the airport, staying in Cairo a few more days, coming back, then going to Luxor.
And the other thing is, even if you're an experienced traveler like yourself, and we travel a lot, you know, just to have that that added extra help and someone to get you through the airport is, you know, it's cool. It's you know, it's nice to have someone help you through.
Yeah, it's like a priority lane.
Okay, I got you. Say no
I
more.
don't like to wait.
It's done.
I do not like to wait. So any little thing that I can get, I try to do. Okay, so we're at 2:12. Alrighty. So please, if you're interested in any of the excursions or the upgrades or the airport escort, everything is due by September 15th. Okay. It does include taxes and fees already in the rate, but everything's due on September 15th, right? So if you're gonna do that, you have to book it in advance. It's not something you can do when you get there because we have to arrange all of the flight information with the agency who are providing the escorts. All right. So go ahead and do that if you're interested. Let's talk about deadlines now.
Jackie, I have a question. It's Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
Hey, so so we're coming in early, a few days early, and we're gonna hang out in Cairo, and we definitely want the escort on arrival. Then we would like the escort back when we go from Cairo to Luxor. Is that possible?
Yes, that is possible. So this is how you should do it, Sharon, because when you select that service to purchase, you're going to have to put in your flight details, right? So I would, and it's $15 per person per transaction, right? So you could do one for one arrival into Cairo, right? And you would put your flight details that are essentially, you know, your international flight, right? And then you could book it again for the Luxor piece. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, yes. Great. Thank you.
And just an added note, when you do meet your guide, they will ask you for your passport. So you know, it's we've done it a few times. It's safe. You know, you can give them your passport and then they'll sort all your paperwork out and they'll give it to you the other side. So or before you go through customs. So don't worry about it.
Yep. Claudia, you have your hand raised. Thank you, Val.
Hey, did we ever figure out the transport? Because Monique and I are coming in early, so to get the transport from the airport to the hotel.
Yes.
Because I don't recall us getting any information on that yet.
Yes. So there are a couple of, I thought I emailed you with the rates. So if you come in early, if I didn't, I will make sure to do that, Claudia. But if you come in early before the 22nd, right, that rate is different than what we have arranged for the 22nd, right? Because we're doing larger groups. And I will email you those rates and we will also put them on the FAQs, right? So everybody can see. So if you want to come in early, you know, it may be 2 of you, it may be 6 of you. But you can let us know which one you want and we will take your information and give it to the agency. We don't have anything on the website where you can book, but we will send the information to the agency, essentially. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Thank you. I got it. Thank you.
And I will take a note because I thought I emailed it to you already.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I missed it.
No, it's
but I
okay.
know
I'll-
we have-
okay.
Oh, well, so I'm still here. Are we gonna talk about, I know we have some themes, and that's why I selected wardrobe challenge, because I know there's some themes coming up, so I need to be prepared to dress for the themes.
We're gonna talk about it a little bit. We're gonna post some stuff, because we only have about 14 more minutes. So we're gonna try to get to it.
Alexis.
Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. Alexis, or is that Lisa? Lisa, you have your hand up.
Hi, can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to say, for anyone who is at the airport and you're wanting to do everything on your own, my daughter and I, when we recently went, if you're on your own, there's sometimes the gentlemen who are at the airport with the bags can be very aggressive and really demand certain amounts of money. So just wanted to put that out there. If you're, not wanting to have an escort, just know that you might have another experience that might be kind of aggressive for you.
Right.
Yes. Thank you for pointing that out, Lisa.
And they got me a couple of times as well, because I thought it was someone official. The way they approach you, it's like they're official, and they just literally take your bag and start walking with you. So I was like,
Exactly.
oh, someone official, and then you realize, no, it's just someone who's trying to make a buck,
Right.
So if it's not your guide, then don't let anyone handle your luggage at all.
Right.
Yeah, and with that, and because this is Danny, Lisa's daughter. We both travel with wheelchair assistants. And so we're accustomed to, when you get off the flight and there's someone waiting with a wheelchair, you think that's someone with the airline who's waiting. And they just kind of whisked us away.
Right.
And they whisked us past the people the guide we were actually supposed to be meeting.
Right.
And then once we got outside and they got the bags and everything, they were like, nope, the tip needs to be $20 a piece.
Right.
And that's it. We were like, oh, okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's very common. I see a couple of more hands. Alexis? No.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, Alexis.
Hi, I'm sorry, you guys, but I know we kind of left this and I got kicked out somehow, but I just want to confirm. So I have 2 laptops up and I just want to make sure, I'm just letting you know that when I get down to and I know this is way in the beginning, but when I get to try to attach my passport, what's the exact thing? It says it's not allowing me to upload it. And I double checked everything before that, which is not a lot, but I double checked to make sure I didn't have any extra, characters or anything like that. And then the other thing I want to tell you is that when you go to the part that says, if you're traveling with anyone, I put no. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Have you visited Egypt before? I click no. So when you click no, I assume that it doesn't allow you to answer those red asterisk required questions. And that if I didn't answer it, it's okay. It's not going to penalize me for it.
Right.
So what could I possibly be doing wrong? Because I already compressed my little document. And
let me ask you about your file name. Do you have any spaces in the actual file name?
Oh, okay. So you mean the actual file that I'm trying to upload?
Yes.
Okay, I will check that and let you guys continue and let me go work on that. Okay.
Or it's a JPEG.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do you prefer JPEG or PDF? Because we can do both.
No, it can't be PDF. It has to be
PNG.
Okay, no problem. PNG. Okay. Okay.
No
Go back.
spaces in the file name. No special
No
characters.
spaces. Gotcha. I understand. Okay, I'm gonna try. Thanks.
Okay.
And it needs to be less than 1 megabyte.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was able to figure that out, but I didn't. I'm gonna now check to see if I probably have that other issue with the spaces. So thank you.
I see another hand just came up. Sharon, Melvin.
Yes, hi, good day.
Good day.
Hi.
Just a quick question about the currency exchange. Do you recommend that that's done on the US side at your bank, or should I wait till I get to Cairo? Do they accept any US currency anywhere? Just
Yeah.
that kind of thing about
Yeah.
the money.
We've always exchanged currency on the countryside. We've not done that prior to leaving. And we either do it at the ATM at the airport or one of those exchange kiosks in the airport. But typically we just use the ATM.
Right. And unless you have somewhere in the US where you can get a good exchange rate. I know you can walk into an American Express office, travel office, and they'll charge you a flat rate. So it doesn't matter how much you change, they'll just charge you, you know, whatever it is, $4 or whatever. But as Jackie said, typically we get our cash when we come out of the airport and go to an ATM. They accept US dollars everywhere. The only place where you may want to use local currency is when you're, you know, the souvenir stores. And I think they accept US dollars.
They accept US dollars, but
and take plenty of change, take plenty of small dollars, take plenty of ones and things like that, because that's what you would use to tip.
Yeah.
Right, ones and fives. And,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know, spending a $10 bill per se, and change would be they're giving me Egyptian currency.
Egyptian currency, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Good to know.
So I would
Thank you.
do my change prior, like
Oh
if
yeah,
you
absolutely.
smaller bills, I would do that prior, because all places won't necessarily give you change, and then the whole conversion, and they may use whatever rate they want to. So if you want to convert, you know, convert US bills into smaller bills, I would do that before going. You know, gratuities mean something different there than they do here in the States, right? Because, you know, we have people who are on salaries and hourly wages and they still get tips, but it's not the case over there. So when you run into a local service person that's a luggage porter, or, you know, an airport escort, or a driver, that sort of thing. Just, you know, being generous with your tips, and we'll send out a recommendation list. It's nominal for us, really, but
yeah,
just
$1, a couple of dollars,
yeah,
is fine. You can give someone, if someone's helping you with your luggage or something, $1, you know, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so does the Egyptian currency fluctuate like the euro?
Yes, it does.
It fluctuates.
It does daily.
Any
Okay.
currency, you know, there's a daily currency rate.
Right.
And again, you know, if you're going into more of like a local shop versus like a bank, they can charge you whatever they want.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a private business. So there's nothing that says you have to use whatever the official, you know, currency rate is in the country. So just being mindful of that. So yeah, did that answer your question, Sharon?
Yes, it does. Yes, and I also saw in the chat. Yes, I always get crisp bills. I take my time at the window to change out old bills for new bills, because I know everyone can't spend them, the old bills.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
No problem. We have about 5 more minutes. So I will ask, if you have any questions at this point, put them in the chat. We'll get back to them. I want to run through this, a couple of things very quickly. One about deadlines. So we've talked about, you know, your passport information. If you have not updated that in your reservation right now, your reservation is at risk with the hotel and the ship, because they have to have the official legal names and passport details that are on your passport. So I'm not gonna go much more into that, other than you're jeopardizing your reservation if you haven't done that.
If you're having any issues filling it in, just let us know so we can walk you through it and help you fill it out. Okay.
Yeah. If you want to book any additional excursions, upgrades, change your hotel room, anything like that, that all needs to be done, paid for by the 15th. All payments are due on the 15th. You can log into your account at myeasel.com and, you know, make your payments. Or you can reach out to the support team and we can help you with that. And we have some other dates around, when you need to get your flight information in, your dietary restrictions. We'll have all of this posted in the Facebook private group, but just really want to call out that next week is final payments. Okay. We've talked about the itinerary. We'll post this as well. There are no new changes to the itinerary. We haven't published the schedule itinerary. That will be closer to the end of September, but you will have it with the date as well as the times throughout the day. Okay. What I wanted to, there was a question on the wardrobe. So we've made some recommendations because we haven't gotten into what the actual themes are because we want some of it to be a surprise. But in terms of your wardrobe, we're going to be doing a lot of walking. So you want to make sure, and it's going to be pretty warm. It will be anywhere between 85 to 92 degrees Fahrenheit when we're there. So you want to wear, loose, breathable cotton, linen fabrics, that sort of thing. You want to just have comfortable walking shoes because we are doing these excursions and there is quite a bit of walking involved. So you want to make sure you have those staples for sure. So things like sun hats and sunglasses and all of that. And we have a travel packing list that we're also posting. I don't know that we're going to have time to go through it, but you want to make sure you have those staples. In terms of colors, we're asking for certain colors that go along with the themes, which are blue, red, white, greens, and or turquoise, gold, silver, white, and black, right? Those are the colors around our themes. In terms of special attire, we do have 2 nights where we're asking, for you to dress up. Dress up means whatever it is for you. That could be semi-formal. It could be formal. It could be Afro-futuristic. It could be kente cloth. Whatever dress up means for you. We do have 2 special nights that we're asking for you to dress up. There will be a day that we're wearing our t-shirts. If you participate, which we encourage, participate in the wellness activations, just dress comfortably because those activations are outside and early in the morning. And then stay tuned to the vision boards to give you some ideas about what we're ideas around the recommendations, visual ideas, if you will. Okay. So I think Danielle may have already posted this in the private group chat. I think I've seen it, and we'll refresh it with the latest. The other thing I wanted to share is that we have put together a travel checklist of things that you need to do and or pack in your bag. Some of which these things are mandatory, like your passport, photocopies of your passport. These are mandatory because we have to give them to the hotels and the ships. You also want to keep a copy for yourself in case anything happens with your actual passport. Again, we put in some items that we think would, just help you from the sun exposure, from, the heat, and just being comfortable as you travel through the airport. Some things, you just want to keep in mind, like when you're traveling, you want to have your chargers for all your devices, but you also want to have an international converter in case you're at an airport that doesn't have the standard US outlet, or even in some of the hotels that we were staying in. So those kinds of things. We've made some recommendations on the kind of toiletries to bring, things you may need for entertainment, like downloading your movies or your podcasts or your books that you can use to entertain you while you're on your flights or waiting on a layover in an airport. One thing I want to mention about the camera,
Victor, this is for you.
And I think Sterling also asked about this. So the country of Egypt does not allow you to take professional photos of any public temples, monuments, government locations, military bases, anything like that, unless you have a permit, right? Which we're researching on how to formalize and get a permit. But for right now, we're advising that you do not even bring your professional camera when we go on the tours. You can use your cell phone, right? You can use attachments like those little lens attachments, that you can put on your cell phone. You can use those. when we go out to the temples and the different monuments. But if you pull out a professional camera, a DSLR, or a heavy duty lens, you know, they're going to find you. All right. So we're recommending that you don't bring them on the tours. Okay.
For now.
For now.
For now. Bring them on the trip.
Right.
You know, you can free to use them on the ship and when we're at the hotels and the parties and whatever. But we're just investigating how to get permits for those who want to bring their professional cameras to the Egyptian sites.
Yeah. But
as Jackie said, if you've got like the special lenses that clip onto your iPhone or your, you know, they've got lenses that clip onto these, that's fine.
Yeah. And then we've been saying this, if you haven't done it already, get your travel insurance. We're talking about a couple of $100, right? But it goes a very long way. If anything happens, if you have to cancel, if you maybe miss a flight, if you get sick, if you need to be hospitalized or anything like that.
God forbid.
God forbid, right? But for a couple of $100, you can have a comprehensive plan and the peace of mind knowing that if anything happens, you're covered and you're not losing out on this investment. This is a huge opportunity, and it's also an investment of your time and resources. So please, 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 we cannot emphasize this enough. Get your travel insurance. We have some recommendations that I think we put on the FAQs. We'll be sure to drop them on the Facebook private group page as well. But that's definitely something you want to do, right? All these other things, you know, they'll be in the checklist and you can read them at your leisure, but I just wanted to highlight that. We're a couple of minutes over time. If there are any pressing questions in the chat, Danielle, that you think we need to answer immediately, I'll take those now. Otherwise, we'll take a note and just circle back within the email communications.
Is everything good, Mo? Danielle?
Everything is good. The only thing that is pertinent or time sensitive, it looks like Alexis changed the PNG file on the visa application to alexispassport.png and still having trouble. So I want to just put that on your radar. Everything else I can share with you and we can, you know, address in the Facebook group. But I do want to put that on your radar.
Okay. Alexis, if you want to, I can give you a call right after this call and walk you through it. And we'll figure it out. Okay. Any other thoughts? Okay.
Hi. One more question. Actually, I just want to see your takeaway on my issue in regards to the visa. I send a little help desk inquiry to them directly. Would you be doing an inquiry on your side as well? Because I noticed that my surname, you had it spelled R-E-E-S-E and it's R-E-E-C-E.
Is this Marlene? I'm sorry, who's speaking?
It's Marlene speaking.
Okay.
Yes.
So, so you said you misspelled your name. You think that was the problem?
No, not misspelling it. I seen when you used my name as an example on the screen, you had R-E-E-S-E and it's actually R-E-E-C-E. So I got you. If you're going to do the inquiry that you inquire on the right spelling of the surname.
Thank you. Okay, got it. Got it. Thank you so much.
No, thank you as well. And I'll follow up. I'll let you know what comes upon on my inquiry on my side.
Okay, please do. Anything else?
Okay, wishing everyone a good week.
Hey, I have a question. This is Sonia. What's the name of the boat we'll be on? We'll be cruising on.
I just slipped my mind. It's the Princess. No, I'm sorry. I'm having too many.
Isn't it the Vera Star Empress? I think
it's the Ibertall. It's the Ibertall Crown Empress. I'll put it in the private Facebook group. But I'm sure it's the Ibertall Crown Empress.
Thank you.
I think that's the name of it. Okay. Take a note.
Just the Crown Empress.
Okay. ¿Alguna más? All right, everyone, we will pick up again next week. Be on the lookout for additional communications on the private Facebook group. If you haven't already, sign up for that. We're still missing quite a few people. If you want to do any additional excursions or the likes, go ahead and purchase those now. If you're interested in transport, pick up from the airport earlier than the 22nd. Make sure you send an email to support@tamborcruise.com so we can get you accounted for. Okay.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you. Take care.
Have a blessed week.
Great
Thanks,
week.
Jackie. Everybody have a good day.
You
Thanks,
too.
Jack.
to the people.
All right.
Bye. Good report.